Okay. I had to stop and post this because, I was asleep trying to take a nap and because I was tired, and God was speaking to me about my life and just talking to me about some things that He's gonna do, and He was saying like it's going to be as if like nothing. He was letting me know like sometimes I always feel like this anxiety about what I'm doing, am I making the right decisions, blah 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 blah. But He was telling me like nothing that you're doing right now is going to matter. Like it's not important right now. Like when the time comes for God to do what He's gonna do in your life, everything in your past, all up to this point, is not going to matter. Like it's gonna be like, whew, it didn't happen, right? It's gonna be like a whole new life, right? Um, that's what God does when He comes into your life. And I don't know if someone is worried about your past, about some things that you've done, about your childhood, your upbringing, right? About some things that people have said about you or will say about you or whatever it is, right? Maybe that you're not feeling good enough, that you're doing the wrong thing. How do you figure this out? How do you make this fit into that, right? Whatever it is, right? God is saying that all of that does not matter, right? When He comes into your life, and just answer the call, right? And for some reason, the story about Gideon came up for me, right? Because his upbringing, it was the highlight was his upbringing, right? And it reminds me of my upbringing. Like I come from the black sheep family of our family, right? Everybody in my mother's, class or family, right, is pretty successful, but my mom, right, and our family was the only one on welfare and blah blah blah. So didn't have parents, didn't have enough, right? Lived in, Section 8 homes, all of that stuff, right? And other people had houses, like other people in my mom's family, right? And from my dad's side of the family too. Like our family was like the black sheep, right? So Gideon came from the same thing. He was the smallest of the brothers or something like that, right? And he was very fearful. But when God came, it didn't matter. All he had to do was answer the call, right? In fact, God even like his army was not big enough. He was not strong enough. He was scared. He was this, he was that. He was not smart, whatever, right? But when God came, He was like, in fact, I want to make your army smaller, right? He made the army smaller, right? He had some Gideon send some people away, right? And then, Gideon's probably wondering, like, how are we gonna fight and blah 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 blah. Like, God's like, look, you don't even have to fight, right? Because then the other army, read the story, y'all, about Gideon. But like they didn't even have to fight. That was the thing. Like when God comes shows up in your life, just answer the call. And what this is really pertaining to, right, is not some big, it is big, it is serious, it is this big fancy thing, but sometimes we get big and fancy. It makes me think about Jesus, right? Everybody thought Jesus was going to come and be this big, famous, fancy king and, giving out these orders and changing everything, right? No, Jesus came to serve, right? So sometimes that big thing that God is doing in your life is a transformation in your heart, in your soul, right? And changing your mindset about things, right? And then that brings transformation in your life physically too, right? So what God is saying, sometimes we think about, oh, I want it to be rich, and that's the big thing, right? No. The big thing is whatever God has for you specifically, right, is transformation for you in your life, right? Whatever it is that He has for you, it doesn't matter about your past. It doesn't matter about what you've done. It doesn't matter about your upbringing, about what your parents did, what they didn't do, what they taught you, what they didn't teach you, whatever it is, right? Just answer the call. Because when that, I don't even know how to sign trumpet, when that trumpet blows, when it's time, right? God's not going to ask you about your parents. He's not going to ask you about what they did, what you didn't do, what blah, blah, nothing's going to matter, right? He's not going to ask you what job you worked. He's not going to ask you how much money you made, right? He doesn't care about all. He's not going to ask you about your house, about your kids, about none of that. He's going to ask you, did you answer the call, right? I invited you to the wedding. You didn't show up. All Gideon had to do was answer when God said, Gideon, mighty man of valor, right? Gideon answered. That was it. That was all he had to do, was answer when God called him and follow his instructions. That was it. And nothing else mattered, right? His life was transformed. So today, if you haven't answered, I'm telling you now, because I was laying down in my bed. Answer the call, y'all. Answer the call. I want to share like why I know this is important. I feel like this is so important, but God's saying that's not important right now. But I want to impress upon you. Just answer the call. Nothing else matters. Answer the call. Amen. Amen. Love you guys. Bye.